Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to the video. I hope everybody's day is going great. So we got an awesome video today. A whole bunch of stuff happened. The Overwatch League official rulebook was leaked. I will link you guys the full rule set down below. As well as that, Kyky did an official interview. We're going to take a look at it. It's very interesting. He basically threw Rascal under the bus. Can't wait to get into that. Also, the games are pretty good. We'll briefly go over them and the playoff implications. Everything is in the Los Angeles Gladiators' hands tomorrow. They control their destiny. And if you're new here, guys, and you haven't already, please do consider hitting the sub button. If you haven't already, I mean, come on, bro. Just subscribe. It's easy. And last thing, guys, I will be doing the official podcast on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you don't know what time this is for you, just Google 8 p.m. Eastern. For me, it should tell you. So the format of this podcast is going to be completely different from any of the others in the Overwatch scene right now. But there's a twist. You guys can be involved. Every 5 to 10 minutes, I will allow up to 3 of you guys to come in on the call. Webcam is optional. And ask me anything you want. Talk about the Overwatch League. Discuss the games, any topics, argue, debate, whatever you guys want to do. It'll be a great time, so tune in 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday after the Overwatch League. It will be done on my Twitch, so link is down below. Go follow so you have notifications. And let's go ahead and hop into this video. So like I said first, the official Overwatch League rulebook has been linked. I will have everything down in the description below so you can check it out. Of course, it's very lengthy. I don't want to go into it too much. There is one piece in the rule set that basically will sum everything up for you, and that has to do with XQC. It read this: a player, team manager, or owner may not engage in any activity or practice which brings him or her into public disrepute, scandal, or ridicule, or shocks or offends a portion or group of the public, or derogates from his or her public image, or is or could reasonably be expected to be detrimental to the image or reputation of, or result in public criticism of, or reflect badly on the Blizzard Group, the league office, or any of their respective representatives, the league, the other teams, or their respective sponsors or members, the game, or any other product of service of the Blizzard Group. Yeah, it was kind of a hard read, not gonna lie. But basically, as I said, this sums up everything for XQC. He clearly violated this rule multiple times, and of course, as you violate it more than once, the punishments will become more harsh. And it doesn't just say this once in the rulebook, it's all over. So again, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and link it down below. That's all I'm gonna read from it. It's very interesting if you want to check it out. It is really strict. And let's move on to the next topic, which, prepare guys, Kyky did an interview. Very exciting, right? When I heard about this and I saw the post on Reddit, I smiled. I was like, oh yeah, juice is coming, baby. You guys are going to get it. And I'll be honest, it was a pretty generic and broad interview. He didn't answer many questions that we wanted, none of the hard-hitting ones. So in this interview, there were a couple questions that the reporter slipped in there, and we did get one little response from Kyky, and it's interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and read that to you guys. So the interview reads, exclusive. Dallas Fuel coach Kyky on roster decisions, the Overwatch League schedule, and team confidence, part 1. So there might be more to come soon, but let's go ahead and get to that question I was talking about. The first one says this: how has Rascal's implementation into the team gone in regards to different styles of shot calling and communication, having transferred over from London Spitfire? He definitely talks a lot about strategy. He wants to call strategy in game, but he can't really do it yet because of his English. He can only say basic things, and I think he's a very smart person, and we're lucky to have him. But at the same time, you can definitely notice the clash of culture. Effect was always the Korean that wanted to beat the Koreans, so integrating Effect was much easier than integrating a Korean who wants to impose Korean culture onto everyone else. It's hard for people to see from the outside, but it's actually been a real struggle. I really enjoy having Rascal on team, of course. He brings a lot to the team, but even the difference of culture between his culture and Mickey, who is also from Asia, it's like two different worlds. Korean culture is very hard to mix with other cultures. I think that's just been the biggest hardship overall. Okay, so we kind of got some juice there, guys, right? Just a little bit of juice. Kind of saying, all right, Rascal, he's been hard to integrate into the team. He kind of wants us to be, more like the Koreans. On the other hand, Effect came into the team, and he's like willing to transfer and be a toxic American, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It just ain't really working out with Rascal so far. That's basically what I got from that, and to be honest, that's what it reads. But that ain't the juice. The next question reads, are those difficulties why we didn't see him as much as people thought we would, and why ACAM was being played on Genji, which was pretty controversial among the online communities? Kyky answered with this: we're going to release a questionnaire style thing answering a lot of these questions really soon. I can assure you that they all had reasoning behind them. It's part of the reason we didn't see Rascal, but AKM playing Genji was more so because he was forced into it because Rascal decided that week was not a good week for him to play. I didn't have much say in that. Rascal wasn't too happy with the improvements we were making that week, and it kind of just took a turn for the worst. So AKM was kind of last minute. Our strategies were Genji strategies, and we knew that soldier strategies wouldn't work there. So you're telling me Rascal decided that was not a good week for him to play? Oh, yeah, Kyky, I'm just going to take this week of work off, alright? You go ahead and put AKM in there. Let him play some Genji. We'll see how he does. I'm going to go chill, you know. What? You kidding me? As a coach, you allowed that? I mean, I know he said I didn't have much control in it, but what do you mean you didn't have much control in it? Did he go to upper management and basically say, the team's trash, I don't want to play? Like, I'm sorry, but like I can't even see Rascal doing that. I mean, of course it's coming straight from Kyky here. Probably no reason for him to lie. But then again, if it's true, why say this? Why throw your player under the bus like this? Like, you don't need to protect your name. If this is true and you had no control about it, the ownership and the management of your org, they know this. So they're not going to fire you. You don't need to protect yourself from Redditors, YouTubers. You don't. He has no reason to protect himself from us, or me, or anything I say. Obviously, I'm still going to talk about it and give my opinion on it, but they don't have to listen. They don't have to acknowledge anything I say. As a coach, you cannot allow this to happen if it actually happened. If it did happen, I don't see the reason for him throwing him under the bus. It makes no sense to me. Which makes me think maybe it didn't happen, which makes me think Kyky is literally trying to save his ass with the community here. So this is honestly a mess. I want that juice with that questionnaire now, I'll tell you guys that, because this is crazy. I was reading through this interview and we weren't getting much, and I was like, this kind of sucks. Then we got hit with this little piece, and I'm like, damn, dude. I can't wait for this full questionnaire. He is really going to give us the juice. No matter what way you look at this, whether it's true, whether it's not true, whether it was out of his control, whether it wasn't out of his control, whether Rascal's in the wrong here or not, the management and the coaching staff completely failed in this situation by letting this get out. Like, he could have easily said this in another wording. He could have said the reason we didn't see Rascal this week, he wasn't feeling very good and he wasn't integrating with the team very well. Communication was really off, and we all agreed as coaching staff, as a team, it would be better to play AKM. Even though you guys haven't seen him too much on Genji, we have, and it wasn't that bad. Obviously, the match didn't go as planned. It was very unexpected, and we're going to avoid doing that ever again. We apologize. That is the proper way to handle that. Not, oh, yeah, Rascal, come here, buddy. Come here. Push him right in front of a train, dude. Like, are you serious? What a fail, man. These guys are a wreck, dude. And why am I the one who has to say this type of stuff? Like, you guys are a $20 million team in the Overwatch League. How do you not have somebody inside your organization who is PR minded and knows what to say? Because seriously, I'm an ex-player who talked trash to everybody. I was hated for what I said on Twitter, but I still have the mind and understanding of knowing what to say in situations like this. I swear, I could go on and on for hours about this topic. Just this little statement from Kyky. I really could, guys. I'm so frustrated. Of course, the Dallas Fuel, the play was great yesterday, and I truly am happy that they improved so much in such a short time. But stuff like this cannot happen. It shows that, yeah, maybe the team looked better yesterday, but the management, the coaching staff, they're still a joke. Just hire someone. Pay them, 20 to 30 grand a year to just look at your tweets and your interviews before you put them out to the public, and you'll have your asses saved so much. Like, am I going too overboard with this, guys? I really don't feel like I am. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this entire interview and exactly what Kyky said. Also, if you want to read up on the other questions, I will leave the full link down below. I don't really want to go into any of the other ones. They were pretty boring and generic, as I said earlier. So that's it for this part of the video. Let's go ahead and hop into the games from yesterday. And let's go ahead and talk about the first matchup. Seoul Dynasty against the Florida Mayhem. And obviously Seoul Dynasty really needed to win this, and at the best score possible. And to be honest, they really needed a 4-0, which they didn't get. It ended up being a 3-1 victory for them. It was pretty close though. Florida Mayhem definitely put up a fight. Volskaya was extremely close, back and forth. Both teams went through both points. Seoul Dynasty edged out the Florida Mayhem. We then went over to Nepal. This was a close map as well. A lot of 99-99s. Seoul Dynasty ended up winning it 2-1 though. Moving into Hollywood, Florida Mayhem, they actually first held the Seoul Dynasty. We didn't see them swap in Zappies for Logix this time. Logix was in, and he was raining hell. Honestly looking like one of the best traces in the league right now. Logix is an animal. Then we moved on to Route 66. Florida Mayhem were looking to bring this to a Game 5. Fortunately though, Seoul Dynasty actually looked the best on this map. They clutched the series out. They didn't have Wakid or Kyky in today. They stuck with their main roster, Fleta, Miro, and although it was close, they still looked pretty good. Unfortunately for them though, I don't think a 3-1 is going to be enough to get them to the playoffs. And speaking of playoffs, let's go ahead and talk about the next match, which had a lot to do with them. Philadelphia Fusion taking on the Los Angeles Valiant. Extremely close matchup. The Philadelphia Fusion needed a win here to put themselves in the best position to qualify for the playoffs. Fortunately for them, they were able to get it. Obviously for the Philadelphia Fusion, these guys also wanted to win at the best margin possible. 3-2 was the worst way to win, but they got the win, which is what matters. Let's go ahead and talk about the maps real quick, and then we'll go into the playoff breakdown. We started off on Hanamura. It was a really close map, and we saw Agility's back in for the Los Angeles Valiant. Clearly, he's being put in a position where he has to perform, or they're going to just toss him to the Wolves, put him on the second team. So he's under a lot of pressure right now, and up until this match, he had actually performed very well. Unfortunately for him, though, this was not his day. He was constantly getting picked off, never really had a big impact on the team fights, never in the kill feed. It really honestly did not look good for him, and I really feel bad for the guy because the position he is being put in is extremely crappy. And I know if you guys have watched any of the Los Angeles Valiant videos they put out, their content, it's extremely real, and they've been very harsh on Agilities. This is definitely a topic for another day. I'm going to make a complete video about the Valiant, their coaching staff, their players, and just how the organization is running the team. It's clearly not being done properly. I'm going to give my full opinion on it, discuss that. We'll have to do it in another video, as I said, though. And let's go ahead and talk about the maps. Hanamura, back and forth, very close. Philadelphia Fusion did edge it out. We then moved on to Nepal. And if there were any map in this set that Agilities played decent on, it was Nepal, and I think that's why they got the victory 2-0. It wasn't really all that close either. Seemed like the Valiant really had the edge the entire time. Even when they lost team fights, you knew they were going to come back with the advantage, their ults, all that good stuff. So they tied the series up 1-1. We then moved on to Kings Row, and it was the exact opposite of Nepal. This time, Philadelphia Fusion, they were in full control. You knew they were going to win. They got the first hold off as well. It was complete domination. Agilities looked horrible on this map. Couldn't get anything done. Then we moved on to Gibraltar, and this was definitely the map of the set. Extremely close and fun match to watch. To Soon's credit, he played very well on this map and probably was the main reason that they did win it. Always in the backline, killing Boombox, taking out Neptuno, as well as Envy. He was there with him. And as I said, it was very close. It went down to the very last team fight. And actually, only one kill decided this map, too. It was 55-54, but it was in the favor of the Valiant. And this took us to Game 5, which was Ilios, and obviously up until this point, Agilities hadn't played very well in this set. I do see where the Valiant are coming from by putting Kariv in. Runes is a Widowmaker map, and having him in there will give them an advantage on that round. As for the other two, though, you kind of might want a Genji. It's definitely a hard decision to make between Kariv and Agilities there. If Agilities was having a good day, I would have kept him in. He wasn't though, which is what makes this question so hard. It was still a pretty close map. Each team won a round. Philadelphia Fusion though, they were just a little bit better. And this map was actually only decided by 3 kills as well. So 49-46 in favor of Philly. And now let's go ahead and talk about the playoffs. So as you guys can see here, New York Excelsior, they locked in the first spot. London, they locked in the second one. Everything there is set. But this is where it gets interesting. Philadelphia Fusion, 7-3, plus 12. So Seoul Dynasty, they choked once again, and we're not going to see them in the stage playoffs, which is a huge surprise to me. I thought this might have been their stage. Their games were going really good, and then they just ran into an unstoppable London Spitfire, and it went downhill from there. Moving on to the next team, we have the Los Angeles Gladiators sitting at 6-3. Now, the reason why they're under Seoul Dynasty is because they haven't played that extra match. They've only played 9. As for Seoul Dynasty, they've played all 10. The Gladiators are sitting at plus 10. So if they can win their next match at 3-0 or 4-0, that will give them plus 3 or 4 in maps, putting them above plus 12 and the Philadelphia Fusion. Other than that, there is no other scenario for the Los Angeles Gladiators to move on over the Philadelphia Fusion. If it's 3-1, 3-2, 2-1, anything like that, the Gladiators will not crack above plus 12. And if they tie plus 12, they won't move on because Philadelphia Fusion do have the head-to-head win over them. So tonight is going to be a huge match for the Gladiators. They're taking on the Boston Uprising. They need that 4-0 or 3-0. It's going to be a very fun match. It's the last one of the day, and I'm super excited for it. Now let's go ahead and talk about that very last match of the night. It was Shanghai Dragons taking on the unstoppable London Spitfire. And I guess Gesture is a god at Widowmaker, guys. He busted it out on Gibraltar. That was probably the highlight of this set. It really was just a complete stomping of the Shanghai Dragons. As I said, Gesture brought out the Widowmaker on the last map. Some people were asking me, do you think it's BM? And my response to that is, I mean, you could look at it that way, but I really don't think it is. Obviously, you know, London Spitfire are going to win this. Gesture's maybe having a little bit of fun. Maybe it's a serious strategy. I don't know. I don't think it's that BM. The match is very unexciting when the London Spitfire are completely stomping them. So when we see a main tank player swap over to a DPS hero, it's always going to make the match more fun and exciting. So because of that, thank you, Gesture. And that's it for the video, guys. Please do, if you haven't already, drop the subscription, man. I say it every video. If you haven't already, I don't know what you're doing. Drop a like as well, guys. Tune in to the podcast tomorrow, guys. Again, it will be at 8 p.m. Eastern. If the Overwatch League goes past 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll just go live as soon as the Overwatch League ends. You also want to join the Discord for this, so the link for the Discord is going to be down below. And I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Peace.